What's up, everybody, and welcome to my Premier League predictions on this video for tomorrow's Premier League games for Matchday 15. My first games of predictions at 12:30 kickoff between my team Arsenal travel away from home to take on Aston Villa. Big matchup, by the way, for both sides in this matchup, because Villa, great comeback on Wednesday. They were 2-0 down to Brighton, and they came back from 2-0 down to win the game 4-3. They scored 4 goals after, when they were leading 2-0 Brighton. They scored 4 to make it 4-2, and it ended 4-3 at the end of the matchup. Very good game that Villa have actually created. And I know that Villa, I'm aware of, they are our bogey team. Probably a team that would probably end up, make it harder for us to try and get any result against Villa, because Villa's a top team. You got not underestimate Aston Villa, Arsenal especially, because we're top of the Premier League. We're 6 points clear above Man City, but at the end of the day, we cannot slip up, because we beat Brentford nicely on Wednesday 2-1. We drawn to Chelsea, and the other games before that, we won them all. But this is a very big matchup for us. I think in terms of us, I think it'd be a very difficult one, only because Villa have been very sharp. And they are currently third in the Premiership. So in my prediction on the game on Matchday 15 between Villa and Arsenal, I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Villa will score first. I think Ollie Watkins will be on the score sheet for Aston Villa. And then I think, we all know that we ain't going to lose this game, but I think maybe a goal from Mikel Merino. He's one of my favourite players at Arsenal so far. He will score goals every time as a midfielder, holding box-to-box midfielder. He knows when he can score goals in good matches. He's done that a few games now, Mikel Merino, and I hope he does score for Arsenal for tomorrow. So I'm going to go for a draw, though, because it'll be a tough game, Villa. And Villa's one of our bogey teams, one of the teams who might find it difficult in this title race. So I'm going to go for a draw that game for Villa Park. Now my prediction at the Stadium of the Vitality in Bournemouth. It's Bournemouth versus Chelsea. And we know how good Bournemouth have been this season. Very good. They've picked up 2 defeats. They've lost to Sunderland, and they also lost during the week as well. And they are dropping down the table. And things are not looking good, obviously, for Bournemouth. Great start to the season, punching above their weight. They're in a bit of a losing drought at the moment, currently in the Premier League, and they need to pick up some form. They do play against Chelsea, though. Chelsea, however, lost to Leeds 3-1 at Ellen Road. A big shock for Chelsea. I thought Chelsea might even beat Leeds 3-1, but it was the other way round, in fact, and Leeds won 3-1 to Chelsea. In this game, in this prediction, I think that as Bournemouth, of course, are in a losing run now, and Chelsea, they're in that title race of Arsenal, but they've actually now been a bit sketchy in terms of how they've done so far by losing to Leeds in that matchup. That's a very important game, Leeds, and they lost that matchup. And I think since Bournemouth are in losing form after losing to Sunderland and also losing to Everton during the week, I'm going to go for a win for Bournemouth. I'm going to go 2-1 Bournemouth in this matchup. I think Chelsea will score. I think Neto will score for Chelsea. As for Bournemouth, I think Semenyo will be on the score sheet, and I think it will be him. And I think that the our striker for Bournemouth will score. Patrick Kluivert will be on the score sheet as well for Bournemouth. So I'm going to go for 2-1 as my prediction between Bournemouth and Chelsea. Now my honest prediction at Goodison Park, as we do have Everton versus Nottingham Forest at the Stadium of the Bradley Moore Dock, the new ground. And yeah, Forest are in winning ways. They're in winning form they are at the moment in the Premier League. Beating Wolves 1-0 on Wednesday. Did lose, obviously, during the weekend's game against Brighton. But they did very well by picking points up the game before that as well, when they actually won. I forgot who they actually played against. They actually won, who did they play on Matchday 13? They actually won in that game against, Who was it? Liverpool, that was it. Liverpool. Well, I forgot about Liverpool. But yeah, going back to this prediction, though, I think that Sean Dyche knows what he's doing at Forest. He knows what to do in terms of escaping relegation. He's done that at Everton. He's done that at Burnley a few times. And I think that he's the right man to take Forest forward. And I think that in this game, especially he's actually managing against his former club, who actually sacked him way back in January at Everton. It'd be a very interesting game, I think, for Dyche to return back to Everton in the new stadium, though, not at Goodison Park anymore. I probably think this match will be very, very tight. I think Jack Grealish will be on the score sheet for Everton, and I think that that Brazilian striker, he's been impressive so far for Forest. I think that Igor Jesus, I think that's his name, is a Brazilian striker. I think he'll be on the score sheet. So I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1 as my prediction between Everton and Forest. Now my prediction between Man City and also Sunderland. Well, Sunderland have been so good. They've been absolutely good this season in the Premier League because they've been amazing. They've been absolutely amazing. They've been absolutely amazing. Throughout the whole season. They did draw to Liverpool 1-1, by the way, and they could have picked up some points in that matchup. They should have been, but at the end of the day, they do play against another big team, Man City, though, at the Etihad Stadium. I'm going to be very controversial about this because Man City sneakily win games. They sneak the win against Fulham. They sneak the win over Leeds. Leeds were playing very good that game against Man City last week. And even Fulham played well against Man City. And those games were very, very tight. And the team obviously lost on that day. Actually played quite well against Man City. But as Sunderland have been, let's say, the real unexpected dark horse in the Premier League, I'm going to go for a shocking victory for Sunderland. I think Sunderland will win away from home. I think they go to Manchester City Stadium and get a winner in the matchup. Probably in the 84th minute, I think they're going to score. And I think Sunderland will be the ones win the game and beat Man City at the Etihad Stadium. It's got to happen. It will happen. I'm going to go for 1-0. Now my prediction between Newcastle and Burnley at the Stadium of Newcastle. Big matchup for the Geordies, for the Black and White Army. They do play against Burnley. Burnley are in not good form. They might have picked up a couple wins. They've picked up 10 points this season, more points than Wolves, and they've been, let's say, thereabouts, Burnley, down the relegation drop. But they are a different type of team, Newcastle. Newcastle have done okay. They've drawn 2-2 to Spurs. They won 4-1, their first away win to Everton from the week before that, last weekend. At home, they are very, very good. And I expect Newcastle to win this game. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for Newcastle against Burnley. Now we go to the 3 o'clock game, the other matchup, as Spurs will take on Brentford. For Tottenham, we know how important this game will really, really be for Spurs because, Tottenham drawn 2-2 to Newcastle, did lose against Arsenal and even lost in the other game last weekend. They actually did not pick up any points against Fulham, by the way, at the Stadium of White Hart Lane. And they're in bad form, Brentford. Tottenham. I'm getting my names wrong. Tottenham, They are in bad form so far. And even, I forgot to mention this, like Sean Dyche returning back to Everton, but Thomas Frank is actually playing or managing against his former club, Brentford. That'd be very interesting that Keith Andrews, the set-piece coach under Thomas Frank, will actually manage against each other in the matchup at the Stadium of Tottenham on tomorrow. My prediction this matchup against Spurs and Brentford, I'm going to go for a win for Tottenham. I think Spurs should win this matchup, despite losing to us, despite losing to Fulham, and despite obviously drawing to Newcastle 2-2. Not good form, but I think they have to win this game. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Spurs, and I think Thomas Frank will probably want to do that against his former club. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Spurs. And my official prediction at 5:30 kickoff between Leeds and Liverpool. And Leeds United had a very, very good Wednesday. They won the matchup against Chelsea 3-1 at Ellen Road. And now they're playing again here at Ellen Road again against Liverpool. Liverpool, obviously, are not in good form. They actually did beat West Ham a few games ago. On Wednesday, however, For Liverpool, they actually drawn 1-1 to Sunderland. I should know about this, but I do forget because I've just got a lot of things in my head at the moment. But this matchup here will be very interesting though, because Leeds did very well by beating Chelsea. Could they go and beat Liverpool at home again on Saturday? Possibly, but my prediction is telling me that Liverpool's to win this matchup due to the fact that Liverpool have to win, of course, and Leeds had their moments. They win games, they end up losing a few games, and I think Leeds will lose this game over Liverpool. And I'm going for a tight one, by the way. I'm going Leeds 2, Liverpool 4 at Ellen Road. I think Ellen Road will be a real fortress on Saturday. Every game, Leeds fans are very noisy. I think that will be the only thing will keep them in the league this season. The fans keep them up because they're a noisy bunch. They are Leeds United fans, and I do think that Liverpool will definitely win the game because they have to win that game. And I'm going to go for a 4-2 victory for them as my prediction at 5:30 kickoff. As my prediction on Matchday 15. Now we move on now to Sunday's predictions. We go to the Amex Stadium as Brighton versus West Ham United. West Ham drawn 1-1 to Man United on Thursday. They can pick up points. I do think West Ham will not be anywhere in relegated this season. I think Nuno knows how to keep West Ham up, I think, because he's actually picked up a few points, by the way, and he's still picking up a few points despite them down in the bottom three. They do play Brighton, though, are a better team compared to West Ham. Because Brighton's really pushing and punching punching themselves up to the top four now. And they had a little bit of a drought, Brighton, but they have got themselves back in good form, especially Danny Welbeck, the 35-year-old striker. Great guy he is. Played for the Arsenal back in the day, and even at 35, still scoring bangers as well. In sort of this matchup for him, and also for the Brighton team as their home, and since West Ham United are the visiting team, this will be a very interesting one. It can go both ways on Sunday, but I'm going to go for a draw, though, I think. I think that West Ham will definitely want to try and keep the momentum going after that draw to Man United, and even pick up a few points and wins a few games ago as well. So I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go 1-1 as my prediction between Brighton and West Ham. Now we go to we'll go to the next game on Sunday. We've got another game to predict off this one, but we go to this next game. It's Fulham versus Palace, the London derby. It's the west side of London. We'll be hosting Palace of the south of London, by the way. Big matchup, by the way, for Fulham. We know how creative they are as a team. You know, they've done well by beating Spurs 2-1 from last week, and Fulham almost beaten Man City, but they lost 5-4 on Tuesday night. But they do play here against Palace at 4:30 kickoff on Sunday on Sky Sports. Personally, this prediction will be very difficult because Fulham is in good form. Palace also is in good form as well. Palace did very well by beating Burnley, and even Palace are now, punching above themselves in that European positions at the moment in the top half of the table. And Palace are a very interesting team to watch, despite them having a little bit of a poor Conference League games. They've actually lost a few against the smaller clubs, but in the league, they actually have really sustain themselves in terms of results, and they've done that by pushing themselves in that top 6, top 7 now, Palace. And I do rate Palace a lot, but it's a very interesting game though. Fulham's in good form, even though Fulham's down near the relegation zone comparison to Palace. I'm going to go for a draw in this game. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Raul Jimenez will score for Fulham, and I think that Mateta will be on the score sheet as well to make it 1-1 between Fulham and Palace at Selhurst Park as that prediction at 4:30 kickoff. Now Monday Night Football. Monday's game. Big game on Monday Night Football as Wolverhampton Wanderers will take on against Manchester United. A big matchup, by the way, for Man United. Did draw to West Ham, not looking good in terms of that result, but they know how to get results on their day. They have hit and misses. Each week they might lose, a game, they end up winning a game, and then they end up losing again. Like they beat Palace last week, 2-1 they did at Selhurst Park. That's a great away victory, by the way, in that matchup. They even lost at home to Everton a few weeks. That was a big blow for them. In this matchup, they have to They have to try and win this match. Definitely against Wolves, though, because Wolves are not going to pick up any points. I think Rob Edwards, I think the league's too much for Rob Edwards. I think, don't get me wrong, Rob Edwards is a good manager. He's done well at Luton, getting them into the Premier League, but I don't think he's a manager who can actually keep Wolves in the league. I think Wolves are too in it, too far away from safety now. If they pick up a win against Man United, it'll be embarrassing though, because we know how embarrassing United can really be on their day, and they have done that through the years, especially, and even under Ruben Amorim, very poor last season under him, and also under the other manager, Eric Ten Hag, the previous manager before that. But he has won the Manager of the Month. He has picked up some form, beaten Liverpool way back in October as well. That might give Man United a little bit, let's say, attention by a lot of, football fans and Premier League talking about this game. People like watching the Premier League and talk about how Man United's form has been a little bit increasing, a little bit, going up a little bit. But they have their blips sometimes as well. Personally, I think this prediction will be a win for Man United. I think they have to win it. I've said that before, and I'll say it again, I'll repeat. Man United will win the game. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I don't think Wolves can score goals. Wolves cannot score any goals. Under Rob Edwards, they have not scored any single goal as he's now taken over as manager also for Wolves. So I don't think he'll score any goals at Molineux. The Molineux fans at Molineux at Wolves will be booing the team, I think. And it should be, because they've been poor. And I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Man United. Bruno Fernandes is on my fantasy team as well. I hope he scores on Monday, and I think he'll score. And I think Xerxes should be on the score sheet as well as my prediction for that game against Wolves. That's going to be it, by the way, for my official predictions on Matchday 15 of the Premier League. And if you like these videos, go and give me a subscribe, because I do predictions every single week of the Premier League. And I'll do the Champions League predictions when we do get into the knockout phases. We will actually do predictions for that as well. But honestly, my whole predictions of this video here on TGI Football comes to an end. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe. If you want more for next week, go and give me a subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace out.